Okay, so I'm going to start the lesson with asking any of you if you've been in a protest before. Has anyone? Sally, you have? Which one were you involved in? Yep, Reclaim the Night? Yep, where was that? In Lismore, okay. And did you find that there was many people that went along? Yep. And who did you go with? Your parents? Yep. Okay, and did you find that that was a really effective way to get the message out? Yeah, it was on TV, okay, yep. And also Reclaim the Night is in lots of towns all over Australia, yep, all on the same night, so yeah, okay. Anyone else? No? Well, I've actually been in a protest myself back in 1992. I was a bit older than you are right now, but it was when the Burnie pulp mill was going to be closed, and we marched through the streets, and there was a big, the protesters had organised a big black coffin to be carried through the streets, and it actually had "Here lies Burnie" in big placards as we chanted slogans and wanted to save the jobs for the city. So why do you think people get involved in protests? John? Yeah, to make a difference. Susan? To show support? Yeah. Justin? To affect change, yeah. If you don't speak up about something, nothing changes. So if enough people have the same opinion and you do something about it, then you may be able to affect change for the future, for the good. So if you Google protests in Tasmania, you'll come up with pages and pages of information about various protests regarding the forestry and the Styx forest, the Tarkine and old growth forests. So it appears that for Tasmania, one of the biggest areas of interest are our forests. So I want to actually take you back to how that all started unfolding with looking at the Wilderness Society and the Hydroelectric Commission and the battle for the Franklin River, which to this day is the largest and most successful environmental protest in Australia's history. So, can anyone tell me what the protest was all about? Megan? Yeah, they wanted to dam the river. And does anyone know who actually owned the land at the time? Yeah, the hydro. So the Hydroelectric Commission, or the HEC, I should say. Does anyone know what the hydro did? Yeah, they provided Tasmania's power. At that point, hydropower was the only sort of power that we did have in Tasmania. And what does hydropower mean? It means water, so it's water generated power. So does anyone know why they wanted to dam the Franklin at this point in time? Any ideas? No? Okay, well you're going to learn about that in this lesson, but basically what they needed to do was create more electricity. They predicted that in the next 10 years there wouldn't be enough dams to create enough electricity, because all the households now were completely electric. Electric lights and all the sort of things that really was drawing on all the power. So they were afraid that they were going to run out. So this dam was going to be the thing that helped hydroelectricity into the future. Okay, so what we're going to do now is we're going to look at some primary historical sources through video footage of the actual events of the time. It also has a commentary of a timeline of the events as they unfolded. So what I want you to do, the video goes for 29 minutes, so I want you to get comfy. I want you to get a notepad and take some notes, because in a future lesson we're actually going to do a debate on the Franklin River. We're going to have for and against sides, and so you're going to need to be able to form arguments. So if you take as much notes as possible, that'll help you to participate in the debate later on.
The Tasmanian government had plans to dam the river. It was to be part of a massive hydroelectric scheme. But in 1983, these plans came to an abrupt halt. The High Court of Australia stopped the project after the biggest environmental battle Australians had ever seen. The fight for the Franklin would be a turning point for Australia's conservation movement. Preserving the environment became a national cause. The fight over the Franklin River was between two groups with very different opinions: the conservation movement and the Tasmanian government.
We think this whole area should be a national park, and so we don't believe we're trespassing. We believe this is our land.
The land you are on is under control of the Hydroelectric Commission. If you do not move immediately, you will be arrested. You're under arrest, you're under arrest, you're under arrest.
Has since admitted it was wrong in its forecast of power needs. The Wilderness Society's victory showed that peaceful, organised protest was an effective way of bringing about political change.
It's my liberty to find friends, struggling to belong. We'll smile to think it started here, saying I remember strong.
The Franklin River and Tasmania's southwest wilderness had been saved.
So as we saw in the video, many prominent people were involved with the Franklin Dam episode. We had Dr. Bob Brown, we had environmentalists from all over, we had writers and poets and photographers, and a famous photographer, Peter Dombrowski's photo was actually taken of Rock Island Bend, which you can see on the screen here. Now this was a very famous colour photograph that was put on the front of the Sydney Morning Herald and the Melbourne Age, which they talked about in the video clip, but this is the actual picture. What sort of emotions does it bring up for you when you look at this photo? What sort of feelings, or what does this photo tell you? It's beauty, yeah? Wilderness, yeah? Just call them out, it's fine. Yeah, clean air, yeah. Yeah, there's a lot of romantic sort of notions brought out in this photograph, like we talked about previously. It's a very romanticised kind of photo because it is a beautiful, beautiful area and a beautiful, beautiful picture. So imagine this being displayed in the front page of the national papers in full colour, this beautiful picture with a caption underneath it that says, "Could you vote for the party that wants to destroy this?" What sort of things does that bring up for you? John? No, you wouldn't want to, would you? It was a very highly emotive caption to put under this photograph. And a lot of people didn't vote for the party. Okay, what I find really interesting is that hydropower is generally known as a cleaner, renewable energy kind of source, which is much better for the environment than the coal-based electricity of other areas in Australia, which is interesting because it would have had to destroy the environment, or partial environment, to be able to create a renewable kind of energy. So after the High Court ruling and the laws that prevented the river from being dammed, the Hydro explored alternatives to hydroelectricity, and they built an all-powered facility at Bell Bay, the Basslink connection between Victoria and Tasmania, so we could get power from the mainland. And also it looked into renewable energy with Windmill Farm at King Island and Woolnorth and Muscle Row in Tasmania's northeast. So what we're going to do next lesson is do the preparation for the debate. If you could look over your notes that you've taken today, do any reading that you possibly can on the internet. There's heaps of information out there to just get some ideas and opinions about the thoughts that were happening in the day. And we will distribute all the roles at our next lesson. Thanks guys, it's been a great lesson. Look forward to seeing you next time.